Okay, I want to show on a video a standard 8-inch disc. It looks like this. It is 8 inches in diameter by 5/16 inch thick. It's got a 1 1/4 inch hole. This is a Blade Master. This is an easy sharp disc. When you first started off, you've got 8 inches here for diameter. It's 7 inches 6, and you have 5. The easy sharp machine that I use a lot, once I get down between, say, 6.5 to 5, I like to use the machine on the smaller skates because I've got the holder all back that protects the disc, and I can get in there and use up the last part of the disc. Now, most machines out there are constant speed machines or 2-pole induction motors. So if there was no load, no windage, they'd be at 3,600, but they rate the motors 3,450 RPM at load. So when you're using the machine and you grind skates smaller and smaller, as the wheel wears down, the surface velocity drops. So if you got a blade in here and then you're using the first part, you've got the full speed. Here you've got 7/8 of the surface velocity. Here you have 6/8, 3/4 of the surface velocity, because this is going constant RPM roughly, and you got the radius dropping. So here's at 5, so you've got a lower speed, plus the composition is not as guaranteed toward the center, and that's more of an iffy thing because it depends on the disc. I'm not really sure. The reason I do this, mark these 3 zones, if it's not like you get 1/3 of the life from here to here and this is 1/3 and 1/3, because just looking at this, the surface area hitting straight on, if this was a piece of pizza, there's a larger circumference. So this is probably math-wise maybe like, instead of 33%, this is probably like 40 to 45, and this, instead of being 1/3, this is probably somewhere in there, I don't know, maybe 30-35%. And then this last portion here, maybe only 20% of the skates you can do, for 2 reasons. One, you may not like the surface velocity. That all depends on the type of steel you're using, the blade, the composition of the disc. There's a whole bunch of hokey variables, so that I'm not even want to go into that now. But by having these marked out here in zones, I can kind of figure out if I'm doing a batch of skates, I'll do all these with the bigger skates here. And once I get down this last, between 6 and 5, I tend to do the smaller skates, and I'll show a video a little bit later about that. If you go over here on the Easy Sharp machine, when you dress this with the diamond back and forth, you can push this in the holder here to the guard, and that has a limit. And then I think when you get down to about 5, you're going to have to set the radius of hollow to be probably closer. You can't probably do like a 9/16 or something. You're going to end up doing maybe like a 5/16 or something. You got to move the diamond in here to physically even get in here to touch it when you've got this really getting smaller. As far as a lot of them are like that. When you get in here to the nitty-gritty on this, I generally use like around a 3/8 to 5/16 at the last bit if you want to get. That's usually, I'm not trying to be cheap to get the disc up. Sometimes in a hurry trying to get a batch of little skates out, and it's just better just to kind of use it up, and I like to use it on the thinner skates, smaller skates, like little kid skates. That's an Easy Sharp machine. Ooh. He looks like he's about, I'll be 3.5 feet long. This is a rough guess.